Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
It was early in the morning in the large city of Tehran. Most people were sleeping soundly in their beds. Suddenly, the quiet was broken by very loud, booming noises. The sounds were like big explosions. The ground and the buildings started to shake. These noises were frightening for everyone who heard them. People woke up very quickly, feeling a lot of fear and worry. Soon, news began to spread quickly through the city and across the world. Reports said there were many explosions in different places in Tehran. People looked outside and saw large amounts of dark smoke going high into the sky above the buildings. There were also reports of fires starting in some areas because of the attacks. It was a time of great confusion and worry for the people living there. Some people shared videos online showing the damage and the scary sights. Then, something even bigger happened. The country of Israel officially announced that its military was responsible for the attacks. This was a very significant piece of news. Israel said they had a special name for their military action, Operation Rising Lion. They explained that they carried out these attacks because they felt threatened by Iran's actions. This event became very serious very fast. It is important for people around the world to understand why. For many years, Israel and Iran had difficult relations and sometimes fought in secret or through other groups. But they did not often attack each other directly on their own land like this. This direct attack made the situation extremely dangerous. Many governments and people in different countries started to pay close attention and felt worried about what might happen next. The scale of the attacks and Israel's clear statement meant that the situation in the Middle East had changed greatly. It was a truly difficult and important moment. 2. Big explosions in Iran. The day was Friday, June 13, 2025. It was very early morning when the attack started. Across the city of Tehran, people woke up suddenly. They heard extremely loud noises, like very big bombs exploding one after another. The sounds were immense and frightening. Buildings all around shook strongly from the force of the blasts, like in an earthquake. People went to their windows or outside to see. They saw huge amounts of dark, thick smoke going high into the air over many different parts of the capital. These large plumes of smoke were a clear sign of the serious damage below. Bright fires were burning in several locations where buildings were hit. The combination of these loud, shaking impacts and the sight of fire and smoke made people feel very scared and unsafe. Soon, sad and serious news began to spread. Important Iranian leaders were among the people killed in the attacks. It was confirmed that a main military commander, the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, was killed. News also said that 2 important nuclear scientists died in the strikes. These deaths were a big loss for Iran. In Tehran, the feeling was one of shock, fear, and confusion. People worried about their families and what would happen next. Many residents used their mobile phones to quickly record what they saw. They took pictures and made videos showing the smoke, the fires, and the damage to buildings. These videos were shared on the internet, letting the world see the situation in Tehran. The attacks caused significant damage in many areas. Not just military sites were hit. Residential neighborhoods where ordinary people lived also suffered. Some homes had walls collapse or windows shatter completely. A housing complex in Tehran was hit, and sadly, several people, including children, were reported killed there. A very important place for Iran's nuclear program was also damaged. This was the main nuclear facility located at Natanz. Smoke was clearly seen rising from the Natanz site, indicating it had been hit hard. After the main wave of attacks finished, help arrived quickly. Rescue workers and firefighters rushed to the damaged areas across the city. They faced a difficult and dangerous job. They searched through the rubble and damaged buildings, looking for people who were trapped or injured. They worked hard to fight the many large fires that were still burning intensely. Emergency vehicles were busy on the streets, lights flashing, trying to reach everyone who needed help. Finding survivors among the destruction was the most important task for the rescue teams. The immediate time after the explosions was one of great difficulty and emergency for the city. 3. Israel says, "We did it." After the big explosions in Iran, Israel spoke to the world. Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, talked about the attacks. He said Israel did it. He said the name of the operation was Operation Rising Lion. Israel said they attacked Iran for important reasons. They said Iran was a big danger because of its plans to make nuclear power and build missiles. Israel called this danger an important threat to its country. They said they needed to stop this danger. The Israeli army gave some details about the attack. They said about 200 fighter jets flew to Iran. These jets hit many places. They said they attacked more than 100 targets in total. These targets were important places for Iran's army and its nuclear program. Israel's defense minister also spoke. He called the attack a preventive strike. This means Israel attacked to stop a danger before it happened. He said this was needed to protect Israel and its people. The Prime Minister also said that these attacks might not be the last ones. He said Israel would continue the attacks if it was necessary. They want to remove the threat from Iran completely. After the attack, Israel also started to prepare for Iran to fight back. The country declared a national state of emergency. This is a special time when the government takes extra steps to be safe. Israel closed its airports. Airplanes could not fly in or out. They also called for more soldiers to join the army. These soldiers were sent to different places, especially near the border. Sirens, which make a loud warning sound, were heard in many parts of Israel. The government asked people to follow safety rules and sometimes stay in safe places. This showed that Israel expected Iran to respond after the strikes. 4. Iran is angry. After the attacks, Iran showed its anger. The country's main leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, spoke. He was very strong in his words. He said the attack was a terrible crime. He promised that Israel would receive a very strong punishment. He said Iran's army would make sure Israel did not do this again without paying a price. Reports came that important military leaders from the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, were killed. Some important nuclear scientists also died in the attacks. This made the anger in Iran even stronger. The government in Iran had important meetings right away. The leaders talked about what to do next. They needed to decide how to answer Israel's actions. The country's parliament also met quickly to discuss the situation. Iran took some steps to be safe. They closed the sky over Iran for planes. This was a safety measure. They also sent their diplomats, people who work with other countries, to friendly nations like China and Russia. They wanted to explain what happened and ask for support from these countries. Iran's foreign ministry also spoke. They said Israel was the attacker. They also suggested that the United States might have helped Israel. Iran said it has the right to respond to this attack. The leaders of the Revolutionary Guards also spoke. They said they wanted revenge. The total number of people killed was not clear right away, but the loss of generals and scientists was a big shock for Iran. The situation in Iran was very tense. People were scared after the explosions, but their leaders were promising a strong answer. The world watched to see what Iran would do after Israel's big attack. 5. Other countries talk. After the big explosions in Iran, countries around the world started to talk about what happened. Their leaders shared their thoughts. The United States government quickly said something important. They said that they were not involved in the attacks made by Israel. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, also talked. He said that he wanted to stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. But President Trump also said that he did not want a wider war in the region. The United States also said it would protect its own soldiers and interests in the Middle East. Other world leaders also spoke. In the United Kingdom, the Prime Minister asked everyone to be calm. He said that all sides should stop and try to make things less tense. He felt that more fighting would not help anyone and could make things worse. The leader of the United Nations also spoke about the situation. He said that any increase in fighting was wrong. He asked for everyone to be careful and show restraint. He wanted the fighting to stop. Russia and China, two big countries, also talked. They did not immediately say Israel was wrong. Russia usually does not like attacks like this, but it has different relationships in the area. China asked for peace and for talks to start again about Iran's nuclear work. Both countries seemed worried that the situation could become very dangerous. Countries in the Middle East also had different ideas. Some countries close to Iran, like groups in Lebanon or Iraq, said they wanted to fight back against Israel or even the United States. Other countries, like Saudi Arabia and Oman, said the attack was wrong and against the rules of the world. Far from the governments and leaders, ordinary people in Iran felt many things. They were surprised and scared by the sounds of the attacks. Many people wrote on the internet about what they saw and heard. Words like Tehran under attack were used a lot. They shared their personal feelings of fear and anger online. Some news stories showed pictures of places that were hit. They showed that some buildings for normal people were damaged, not just military places. This happened even though people in charge tried to control what news came out. Rescue workers were still looking for people and helping where they could. Everyone waited to see what would happen next. The words from different countries showed that many people were worried about more fighting starting. 6. The long story before. Israel and Iran have had problems for a long time. Sometimes they fought openly, and sometimes the fighting was secret. Israel was very afraid of one thing. Iran making a nuclear bomb. Israel felt this was a big danger to its life. Iran said its nuclear work was only for electricity and peace, but international groups watched Iran closely. They saw that Iran was making its uranium more pure. This worried them a lot because pure uranium can be used for weapons. Iran has special places for nuclear work. Two main places are Natanz and Fordo. These places are important but have been attacked before. In 2010, for example, a computer virus called Stuxnet stopped many nuclear machines at Natanz. Fordo is built deep inside a mountain and has guards and weapons around it. These nuclear places have caused disagreements with other countries for years. Things became more difficult recently. An international group that watches nuclear work, the IAEA, was not happy with Iran. The IAEA said Iran was not helping them enough with inspections. This happened just before the attack. It was the first time the IAEA was so unhappy with Iran in 20 years. After this, Iran said it would open a new nuclear place that was not known before. Iran also said it would make its uranium more pure, up to 60%. This made Israel and Western countries very worried. They said Iran was getting very close to being able to make a nuclear bomb quickly. Israel's army got ready for many years for a possible attack on Iran's nuclear program. Israel has strong airplanes like the F-35. They also have ways to fly very far to reach places in Iran. Iran also made many strong missiles that can fly very far. Israel was very worried about these missiles too. Israel feared these missiles could carry a nuclear bomb one day. Israel thought that destroying Iran's missile places was very important. There were many fights between Israel and Iran before. Often these fights were not open, they were secret. People called this a shadow war. These secret fights happened for decades. Sometimes Iran or groups it supports attacked Israel or its friends. Sometimes Israel attacked people or places connected to Iran. This attack on June 13th was one of the first times they fought so openly against each other in their own countries on such a large scale. This long history shows why the event was very important and very dangerous. The problems did not start on that day. They had been building for a very long time. The fear and the history made the event bigger and more serious for everyone in the Middle East and the world. 7. What now? People who study what is happening in the Middle East say that Iran will very likely fight back against Israel. They call this retaliation. The risk of Iran hitting back is very high now. Iran has different ways it can choose to respond to Israel's attacks. One way is a direct attack. This means Iran could launch missiles or drones from its own land towards Israel. Another way is to use groups that are friends with Iran and are in other countries. These groups often do things for Iran. The two important groups are Hezbollah, which is located in Lebanon, and the Houthis, who are in Yemen. These groups have fought against Israel or its friends before. If Iran uses these groups or attacks directly, the fighting could quickly get bigger and spread to more places in the region. There is a big danger that this conflict could grow and pull in other countries. For example, the United States has military forces in bases in the Middle East. If Iran or the groups that work with Iran attack these American soldiers or bases, the United States might get directly involved in the fighting. U.S. President Donald Trump is the current president. He has said the U.S. was not part of the strikes made by Israel. He also said that America wants to stop Iran from having nuclear weapons, but he wants to stop a wider war from happening. Still, if American forces are targeted, the U.S. government has said it will protect them. This could make the situation much more dangerous and hard for anyone to control. The attacks have already had effects on the world's money systems. The global stock markets, where people buy and sell parts of companies, went down. This is because people were worried about the future and if things would be stable. The price of oil also went up a lot very quickly. This happened because people are afraid that if there is more fighting in the Middle East, it could stop oil from being sent out to other countries. These money changes show that people are worried about a bigger war. Attempts to solve problems through talking, called diplomacy, are also facing big difficulties. Before the attacks, countries were trying to talk with Iran about its nuclear program to find a peaceful agreement. But now, after Israel's strikes, these important talks are much harder to continue. It is not likely that Iran will want to talk right after being attacked. Peace talks are now facing serious problems. The people living in Israel and Iran are feeling the effects of this crisis very strongly. In Israel, people are very anxious and worried that Iran or groups linked to Iran might attack them with missiles or drones. The government in Israel has told people what to do if they hear warning sirens, and many public places were closed for safety. In Iran, the people were shocked and scared by the explosions that happened in their cities. They are also feeling a lot of anger because of the attacks on their country. The crisis is making life difficult and full of worry for many ordinary people in both places. Countries around the world have different ideas about whether Israel's actions were right or wrong. Some countries support what Israel did. They say Israel had to defend itself because it sees Iran's nuclear program as a big threat to its safety. Other countries believe that Israel's attack was wrong. They say it went against the rules that countries agree to follow and hurt Iran's right to control its own land. This means that countries globally do not agree on how to understand this event. Many countries in the Middle East near Iran also have different reactions. Some countries in the region that are close friends with Iran are very angry about the attack and want Iran to take revenge. Other countries in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia and Oman, did not support the attack. Saudi Arabia said the attack broke international laws. Oman said the strikes were dangerous. Major world powers like Russia and China are also watching the situation closely. They have their own reasons for wanting the region to be calm or not. Russia and China have not strongly said who was right or wrong. They usually ask for everyone to stop fighting and try to talk instead. This shows that the crisis is affecting many different countries and their plans. The situation now is very unclear and everyone is wondering what will happen next. 8. The end of the story. These very large attacks had serious results. They changed things in a major way. The attacks showed that the conflict between these two countries, which was often unseen, can now happen openly and on a big scale. This makes the situation in the Middle East very dangerous. The future now seems unsure for many people. There is a feeling of not knowing what will happen next. The situation is full of worry and tension. People who live in the area are especially worried. They do not know if there will be more attacks or if the conflict will spread. There are many hard questions that leaders and people must think about. How can peace be possible after such big attacks? Is it possible for the countries to trust each other again? What steps are needed to stop the fighting and make the region safe and stable? These questions do not have easy answers. This event is not the final part of the story. It is just a new beginning, like the first page of a new book chapter. This new chapter is difficult. It brings many challenges for the people in the region and for countries around the world. The way forward is not clear right now. The tension is high. Leaders must think carefully about their next actions. Any wrong step could make things much worse. The countries in the region are watching each other closely. International leaders are talking to try and find a way to calm things down, but it is very hard. The attacks had a big impact on the lives of ordinary people. They felt fear and shock. They hope that the violence will end soon, but the fear of more conflict is real. The world is now looking at this region with great concern. This important event shows that the story of this conflict is still happening. It is not finished. This new chapter is full of danger and uncertainty. What do you believe will happen next in this story?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.